Hello, and welcome to English in Advance. I'm your host, Jessica. Does this sound familiar? You are in a conversation. Someone asks you a question in English. You open your mouth to answer, and nothing. You freeze. But you are not freezing because you don't know the words. You are freezing because your brain is suddenly working too hard. You are thinking, what is the correct tense? Should I use the past simple or the present perfect? Wait, what was that vocabulary word? Is it effective or efficient? Oh no, they are waiting for me to speak. I'm taking too long. This, my friends, is the sound of overthinking. It is the number one reason why intermediate English learners, just like you, feel stuck. You have the knowledge. You know the grammar, you know the vocabulary, but when it is time to speak, your brain becomes a traffic jam of rules and translations. Today, we are going to change that. This podcast is dedicated to helping you stop overthinking in English and start speaking with confidence. We are focusing on real, everyday conversations, perfect for the B1 to B2 level. We are going to break down why you overthink and give you practical strategies to speak more naturally, more fluidly, and with much less stress. This is not about being perfect. This is about communicating. Are you ready to clear that mental traffic jam? Let's begin. The first step in solving any problem is understanding exactly what it is. So what is overthinking in English? It is not just thinking. It is thinking too much about the wrong things at the wrong time. When you should be focused on the message you want to share, your brain is focused on the rules of the language. Imagine your brain has two parts. One part is the communicator. This part just wants to connect with the other person. It wants to say, "I had a great weekend." The other part is the editor. This part is like a very strict, very nervous grammar teacher. The editor stops the communicator and says, "Wait, great weekend? How great? Was it fantastic or splendid? Did you use the correct verb? Are you sure?" For many English learners, the editor is too loud and the communicator is too quiet. When you overthink, you are letting the editor control the conversation. This happens in a few common ways. The most common way is translation. You think the sentence completely in your native language first. Then, word by word, you try to translate it into English. This is a trap. Why? Because languages are not simple codes for each other. Sentence structure is different. Idioms are different. The way we express ideas is different. Let's think about a simple example. Maybe in your language, to say you are hungry, you say something like, "I have hunger." If you translate that directly, you say, "I have hunger." A native speaker will understand you probably, but it sounds unnatural. The natural English chunk is, "I am hungry." While you are busy in your head translating, "I have hunger," the conversation has already moved on. The moment is lost, and all that mental work made you slower, not better. This translation habit is hard to break, especially if you learned English in a very academic, rule-focused way. You were taught to be careful. You were taught that mistakes are bad. So your brain tries to use your native language as a safety net. But this safety net is actually holding you back. It is keeping you from thinking in English, which is the true key to fluency. We will talk a lot more about how to start thinking in English in just a moment, because it is the most important solution. The second way we overthink is by obsessing over grammar. This is the B1 and B2 level dilemma. You have learned so many tenses. You know the past simple, past continuous, present perfect, past perfect, conditionals. You know the rules. And because you know them, you are terrified of using them incorrectly. Let's imagine a real conversation. Your colleague, Sarah, asks you, "Hey, what did you do last weekend?" A simple, natural answer might be, "Oh, it was pretty relaxing. I just watched some movies and saw some friends." But the overthinking brain goes into overdrive. Imagine this internal monologue. "Okay," she asked, "did I do?" That is past simple. So my answer must be in past simple. "I watched movies." Yes, watch plus ed. Good. "And I saw friends." See, saw, seen. Yes, saw is correct. Wait, what about pretty relaxing? Is that the right adjective? Should I say relaxed? No, the weekend was relaxing. I felt relaxed. Okay, I think the sentence is correct. Let me build it. By the time you have finished that mental check, you might take in 5 or 10 seconds. The silence feels long. You feel awkward. Sarah is waiting patiently. You finally say, "I watched movies and saw friends." Your grammar was perfect, but the interaction felt slow and unnatural. What if you had just focused on communicating? What if your first thought was just weekend, good, movies, friends, and you said, "It was good. I watched some movies with friends." Was it 100% grammatically perfect? Maybe, maybe not. Did Sarah understand you? Yes. Did the conversation flow? Yes, that is success. The third way we overthink is the search for the perfect word. This is when you know a simple word, but you feel it is too simple. You want to sound intelligent. You want to use the impressive B2 or C1 vocabulary you learned. Let's go back to Sarah. She shows you a report she wrote and asks, "What do you think of the introduction?" A simple, clear answer is, "I think it's good, but maybe the first sentence is a little long." But the overthinking brain starts searching. Imagine this internal monologue. Okay, good is too basic. What's a better word? Effective, compelling, sufficient, adequate, and long. What's a better word for long? Verbose, lengthy, wordy? Okay, let me try. I find it generally effective, however, the initial sentence could be perceived as slightly verbose. Again, the grammar is impressive. The vocabulary is advanced, but it took you 10 seconds to create that sentence. It sounds a little robotic, not like a real, flowing conversation. And in the process, you probably felt a lot of stress. The simple answer, "It's good, but the first sentence is a bit long," is better communication. It's fast, it's clear, and it's friendly. So, we have these 3 main problems: translating in our heads, obsessing over grammar rules, and searching for the perfect word. All of them are symptoms of the same root cause: fear. Fear of making mistakes. Fear of being judged. Fear of sounding stupid. But here's the truth, and I want you to really listen to this. In real, everyday conversation, native speakers do not care about your grammar. They are not listening with a red pen, waiting to correct you. They are listening for your message. They want to connect with you. Fluency is not about being perfect. Fluency is about being understood. Fluency is about keeping the conversation moving. A speaker who uses simple English but speaks smoothly and confidently is more fluent than a speaker who uses advanced grammar but stops and starts every 3 seconds. Your goal is to silence that loud, nervous editor in your head and turn up the volume on the friendly communicator. So how do we do that? We need to build new habits. We need to retrain our brains to take a different path. The first and most powerful new habit is to start thinking directly in English. This sounds difficult, I know. You might be thinking, "Jessica, How can I think in English if I am not fluent in English? It's a classic problem. You need to think in English to be fluent, but you feel you need to be fluent to think in English. The answer is to start small, incredibly small. You don't start by trying to think about complex political philosophy in English. You start by looking at the world around you. Let's try it right now. As you are listening to this podcast, just look around the room you are in. Don't translate. Just label. See a table? Think the word table. See a chair? Think chair. See a lamp? Lamp. A window? Window. A book? Book. Do this for 1 minute, just naming things. Laptop. Coffee mug. Pen. Wall. This feels very basic, doesn't it? But you are doing something profound. You are creating a direct link between the object and the English word. You are bypassing your native language completely. You are not seeing a table, thinking the word for it in your language and then translating it to table. You are just seeing it and thinking table. This is the first step. Do this every day. Do it when you're in the kitchen. Spoon, fork, plate, water. Do it when you're walking outside. Tree, car, street, sky, building. After you get comfortable with single words, you move to the next level. Very simple sentences. This is what I call your internal monologue. You are going to start narrating your life to yourself, in your head, using the simplest English you can. When you wake up in the morning, your first thought could be, I am awake. It is morning. I need to get up. As you go to the bathroom, I am brushing my teeth. I need a shower. The water is warm. When you are making breakfast, I am making coffee. I want some toast. Where is the butter? Again, keep it simple. We are not trying to write a novel. We are just building the habit of your brain's default thinking language being English. At first, you will find yourself slipping back into your native language. That's 100% normal. When you notice it, just gently switch back. No stress, no judgment. Oh, I'm thinking in my language again. Okay. What was I thinking? Ah, yes. This coffee is good. If you do this consistently, even for just 5 or 10 minutes a day, something magical starts to happen. English stops feeling like a foreign subject you study and starts feeling like a tool you use. Let's practice this. Imagine you're about to leave your house. What are you thinking? Your internal monologue in English might sound like this. Okay, I am ready to go. Where are my keys? Ah, on the table. I have my keys. I have my wallet. I have my phone. Good. I need to lock the door. It's a bit cold outside. I should take a jacket. This kind of simple internal practice is essential. You are practicing reacting to your environment in English. You are not performing for anyone. There is no one to judge you. It is just you and the language. This is where real confidence begins, in these private, simple moments. As you get more comfortable, you can expand this. You can start to form simple opinions in your head. Instead of just car, you can think, that's a nice car. Or, that's a fast car. Instead of just sky, you can think, the sky is blue today. It's a beautiful day. You can also use this to practice grammar in a very low-pressure way. Let's say you are thinking about your day. Today, I am going to meet my friend for lunch. Yesterday, I went to the office. Tomorrow, I will probably work from home. You are reviewing your tenses in a real, contextual way, not as an abstract rule in a textbook. This habit of thinking in English is your primary weapon against overthinking. Because when someone asks you a question, if your brain is already in English mode, you don't need to translate. You can just respond. Let's imagine that scene again. Sarah asks, "What did you do last weekend?" Your brain is already used to thinking in English, so your internal monologue is not a translation. It is just, weekend. What did I do? Ah, movies, friends, relaxing. And what comes out of your mouth is, "It was pretty relaxing. I watched some movies and saw some friends." It's faster. It's smoother. It's 100 times less stressful. Now, let's talk about the second major strategy. This one works perfectly with thinking in English. The strategy is learn in chunks, not in single words. What is a chunk? A chunk is a group of words that native speakers often use together. It is a phrase. It is a collocation. It is a pre-built piece of language. When you learned English, you probably learned lists of vocabulary: good, bad, happy, sad, go, eat, see. But fluent speakers don't build sentences one word at a time. Like building with tiny Lego bricks, they think in chunks. They grab a whole pre-built section. Think about the phrase, "How's it going?" When a native speaker says this, they are not thinking, "How is it going?" They are thinking of it as one single unit of meaning. How's it going? It means, hello, how are you? Your B1 to B2 level is the perfect time to shift your focus from single words to chunks. Let's look at our overthinking example from before. The student searching for the perfect word to describe the report. Effective, compelling, verbose. They were searching their mental dictionary for single words. A chunk-based thinker would respond differently. They have a collection of chunks for giving opinions. Chunks like, to be honest, in my opinion, it looks good, but what I liked was, the only thing is. So when Sarah asks, what do you think of the introduction? The chunk-based thinker doesn't panic. They just grab a chunk. To be honest, I think the first sentence is a bit long. See how much easier that is? To be honest is a chunk. A bit long is a chunk. The only word they had to find was first sentence. Let's build your collection of chunks. Right now, let's think about a real conversation. How about making plans? Your friend says, "Are you free on Saturday?" You could say yes, but that's very short. It stops the conversation. You could overthink. Saturday will let me check my calendar. I believe I have no appointments, therefore I am available. Too slow, too formal. Or you could use a chunk. If you are free, you could say, "I think so." What do you have in mind? What do you have in mind? That is a fantastic natural chunk. It means, what's your idea? If you are busy, you could use a chunk like, "Oh, I'm afraid I'm busy on Saturday. How about Sunday?" "I'm afraid I'm busy" is a polite chunk for saying no. How about is a great chunk for suggesting an alternative. Let's practice. Imagine I am your friend. I say, "Do you want to get dinner tonight?" If you want to go, what chunk could you use? Maybe, "I'd love to. Where should we go?" Or, "That sounds great. What time?" If you cannot go, what chunk could you use? Maybe, "Oh, I can't tonight. I already have plans." Or, "I wish I could, but I have to work late. Maybe tomorrow?" "I'd love to." "That sounds great." "I'm afraid I can't." "I wish I could, but..." These are your tools for fluency. When you learn vocabulary, stop just learning one word. Learn the words that go with it. Don't just learn the word interested. Learn the chunk I'm interested in. I'm interested in history. I'm interested in learning more. Don't just learn the word look. Learn the chunks. Look for, look at, and look forward to. I'm looking for my keys. Please look at this report. I'm looking forward to the weekend. When you learn these chunks, you are downloading pre-made sentences. This dramatically reduces the amount of building your brain has to do in a real conversation. Less building means less opportunity to overthink the rules. Let's have a mini conversation, and I want you to notice the chunks. Imagine two colleagues, Mark and Lisa, in the office kitchen. Morning, Lisa. How's it going? Hey, Mark. Not too bad, thanks. Just getting some coffee. How about you? Oh, pretty busy. I'm working on that big presentation for Friday. Ah, right. How's that coming along? To be honest, it's a bit of a nightmare. I'm having trouble with the data. Oh, no. Well, let me know if you need any help. I'm pretty good with Excel. That's so kind of you. I might take you up on that. Look at that conversation. It was almost entirely made of chunks. How's it going? Not too bad. How about you? Pretty busy. How's that coming along? To be honest, a bit of a nightmare. Having trouble with, let me know if, pretty good with, that's so kind of you. Take you up on that. Mark and Lisa were not thinking about grammar. They were not translating. They were just pulling these familiar phrases from their memory. This is what natural, confident speaking sounds like. And it is 100% achievable for you. Your homework is to become a chunk collector. When you listen to this podcast or watch movies in English or read articles, don't just look for new words. Look for new phrases. Write them down in a notebook. Say them out loud. Practice them. Make them your own. This brings us to our third strategy, which is related to what we just discussed: embrace simplicity. At the B1 and B2 levels, you often fall into a trap. You want to sound advanced, so you try to use complex sentence structures and impressive vocabulary. But this is often exactly what causes you to overthink and freeze. Let me tell you a secret. Clear, simple, and correct English is infinitely better than complex, hesitant, and incorrect English. Confidence does not come from using big words. Confidence comes from being understood clearly. Let's look at an example. You are in a discussion about a movie you just watched. You want to say, the protagonist's internal struggle regarding his moral ambiguity was the most compelling aspect of the film's narrative. That is a very complex C2 level sentence. It is also very easy to get wrong. While you are in your head thinking, wait, is it protagonist's internal struggle or internal struggle of the protagonist? Regarding or about? Compelling aspect, or aspect that was compelling. While you are doing all that, the conversation is dead. What if you just embraced simplicity? What if you just said what you mean? I like the main character. He wasn't sure if he was a good person or a bad person. That was the most interesting part of the story for me. Is it simple English? Yes. Is it clear? Perfectly. Is it good communication? Absolutely. Did you have to overthink it? Not at all. You are not taking an exam. You are having a conversation. The goal is connection, not a perfect score. Let's practice simplifying. Imagine you want to express this complex idea. The implementation of the new software system has resulted in a significant decrease in procedural inefficiencies. Wow, that's a mouthful. It's full of business jargon. How can we say this simply? Think about the real meaning. New software. Things are working faster. Less wasted time. So you could just say, the new software is great. It's saving us a lot of time. Or, since we got the new software, things are much more efficient. That is beautiful communication. It is direct, confident, and easy to understand. When you feel yourself starting to overthink, when you feel your brain searching for that impressive word, just pause, take a breath, and ask yourself, what is the simplest way to say this? 9 times out of 10, the simplest way is the best way. This connects to our next strategy, which is absolutely vital for sounding natural. This is about what to do in the moment you feel stuck. Overthinkers, when they get stuck, do one thing. They go silent. The silence is long. It's awkward. It makes you feel more stressed, which makes it harder to find your words. Confident speakers get stuck too. Native speakers get stuck all the time. We lose our train of thought. We forget a word. We don't know how to phrase an idea, but we don't go silent. We use fillers. Fillers are the little words and sounds we use to fill the silence while our brain is catching up. They are signals to the listener that say, "Hold on, I am thinking, don't interrupt me." Overthinkers often hate fillers. They think fillers sound unintelligent or unprofessional. The truth is the complete opposite. Using fillers correctly makes you sound more natural and more fluent because you are doing what native speakers do. A total panic silence is much more awkward than a thoughtful, So what are these magic fillers? The most common ones are and What did I do last weekend? I went to the park. This is perfectly natural, but at the B1 to B2 level, you can use more advanced, more strategic fillers. These not only fill the silence, they also give your brain several seconds to think. Let's build your filler word toolkit. Someone asks you a question you are not ready for. Instead of silence, you can say, that's a good question. This is a great one. It complements the other person, and it gives you 3 to 4 seconds to think. For example, if someone asks, "What's the best way to improve our marketing?" Your answer could be, that's a good question. Well, I think we should focus more on social media. Another one, let me think about that. Or, let me see. For example, what time does the meeting start tomorrow? Your answer, let me see. I believe it's at 10 a.m. Another one, well, this is a classic. You can draw it out. For example, did you like the movie? Your answer, well, it wasn't my favorite. The acting was good, but the story was a bit boring. Another one, this is often used to make a connection with the listener or when you are searching for the right way to say something. For example, it's just, it's hard to explain. I just didn't like it. Let's look at a conversation and see how a confident speaker uses fillers compared to an overthinker who goes silent. The question, what do you think is the biggest challenge facing our company right now? The overthinker's response, a panicked silence for 5 seconds. Their internal monologue is, biggest challenge. Is it sales or competition or technology? I must choose the best one. Challenge, difficulty, obstacle. Finally, they say, I think competition is very difficult. The response is weak, and the silence was very awkward. The confident speaker's response, wow, that's an interesting question. Let me think. There are a few things, but I'd probably say, keeping up with the new technology. It just changes so fast. Well, either that or finding good people to hire. Do you see the difference? The confident speaker spoke just as much, but a lot of it was filler. Wow, that's an interesting question. Let me think. Well, all those little fillers held the conversational floor. They kept the other person engaged. They made the speaker sound thoughtful, not panicked. Practice this. The next time you are speaking English and you feel your brain stop, don't go silent. Use a filler. Just say, or, well. It is a small change that makes a huge, huge difference. It gives you permission to pause, and that permission is often all you need to stop the overthinking panic. So we have our strategies. Think directly in English, starting with simple labels and internal monologues. Learn language in chunks and phrases, not just single words. Embrace simplicity. Clear is better than complex. Use filler words to avoid panicked silence and give your brain time. Now, we need to put this all together in our final and most important strategy, changing your mindset. The root of overthinking is fear of mistakes. So the only way to truly stop overthinking is to change your relationship with mistakes. I want you to try to adopt a new mindset. I call it the communication first mindset. The rules are simple. My goal is to be understood, not to be perfect. Mistakes are not failures. They are evidence that I am learning and trying. The flow of the conversation is more important than perfect grammar. When you make a mistake, you have two choices. Choice A, the overthinker. You panic, you stop, you apologize. Oh, I'm sorry, my English is so bad. I said goed. I meant went. I'm so stupid. You have just killed the conversation. All the energy is gone. Now the other person feels awkward and has to reassure you. Choice B, the confident communicator. You notice the mistake, quickly correct it, and keep going. Yesterday I went to the store and I saw. See that? It was fast. Sorry, I went. And then immediately back to the story. The listener didn't even have time to care about the mistake. They are focused on what you saw at the store. You have to learn to be kind to yourself. You are learning a complex skill. You will make mistakes. I am a native speaker and I make mistakes in English. I use the wrong word. I start a sentence and forget how to end it. It happens. When it happens, I just laugh. Or I say, oh wait, let me rephrase that, and I try again. It's not a big deal. I want you to practice this self-correction. When you are doing your internal monologue practice and you notice a mistake, just correct it and move on. Imagine this internal monologue. Yesterday I was very tired. I watched a movie. That's it. A simple, fast correction. You are teaching your brain that mistakes are easy to fix. Let's bring all of this together now. Let's walk through a longer, more detailed, real-world conversation. We are going to listen to two friends, Alex and Ben, who are planning a weekend trip. First, let's listen to how this conversation might go if Alex is overthinking everything. Imagine Ben starts the conversation. Hey Alex, I was thinking we should go hiking this weekend. The weather is supposed to be amazing. Now, here is Alex's internal monologue. Oh, no hiking. Okay, he said we should go. That's a suggestion. He said weekend. That's this weekend. He said weather amazing. Okay, I need to answer first. I need to say if I am free. Am I free? Yes. So I say, yes, I am free. But that is simple. I should sound more enthusiastic. What is an enthusiastic word? Great. Wonderful. Fantastic? Let me use fantastic. Okay, that is a fantastic idea. Now I need to ask a question. What to ask? Where? Yes, that is a fantastic idea. Where will we go? Ben might be a bit confused by the pause and say, I was thinking maybe Mount Falcon. It's not too far. Then Alex's internal monologue starts again. Mount Falcon, I do not know this place. Not too far. What does not too far mean? 1 hour, 2 hours? I need to ask. How far is it? No, that's basic. Let's try. Can you specify the approximate duration of the journey? Ooh, that sounds very intelligent. Specify. Approximate duration. Journey. Yes. Perfect. And after another long pause, Alex says, can you specify the approximate duration of the journey? Ben, now feeling very awkward, might reply, the journey? You mean the drive? I think it's like an hour? Maybe a bit more? Do you feel the stress in that conversation? Alex's English was technically advanced, using words like fantastic and approximate duration. But the communication was terrible. It was slow, robotic, and stressful for both people. Alex was so busy trying to be perfect that he failed to be present in the conversation. Now, let's replay this scene. This time, Alex is a confident communicator. Alex is going to use our strategies, think in English, use chunks, embrace simplicity, and use fillers. Ben starts, Hey Alex, I was thinking, we should go hiking this weekend. The weather is supposed to be amazing. Alex's internal monologue is now in simple English. Hiking? Sounds fun. Weather good. Yes. And Alex's external dialogue comes almost immediately. Oh, that sounds great. I'd love to. Where are you thinking? Ben says, Awesome. I was thinking maybe Mount Falcon. It's not too far. Alex's internal monologue. Mount Falcon? Never heard of it. Not too far. Wonder how long? Alex replies, Oh, cool. I don't think I've heard of that one. How long does it take to get there? Ben says, I think it's like an hour, maybe a bit more. It's supposed to have a great view at the top. Alex's internal monologue. Okay, an hour is fine. View, nice. What should I bring? Food, water? Alex's external dialogue. Perfect, so what should I bring? Like, just snacks and water? Or should we pack a full lunch? Ben thinks for a moment. That's a good point. Let me check. The trail guide says it's about a 3-hour round trip. So yeah, maybe some solid snacks and plenty of water would be good. We can grab lunch on the way back. Alex replies, Sounds like a plan. What time should I be ready? Do you feel the difference? The second conversation was alive. It was easy, fast, and comfortable. Alex was not performing English. Alex was using English to make plans with a friend. This is your goal. Your goal is to have the second conversation. And the way you get there is by practicing these techniques. You practice thinking in English, just narrating your day. You practice collecting and using chunks like, that sounds great, and how's that coming along? You practice embracing simplicity, asking, how long does it take? Instead of, what is the approximate duration? You practice using fillers like, well, and let me see. So you don't panic and go silent. And most of all, you practice being kind to yourself, focusing on communication, not perfection. Overthinking is a habit. It is a mental habit that you have built over years of learning English. You cannot break this habit in one day. It takes time and it takes consistent practice. But you can break it. Every time you speak without translating, you are weakening the old habit. Every time you use a chunk, you are building a new, better habit. Every time you catch yourself making a mistake and just correct it and move on, you are teaching your brain to be confident. This is what we focus on here at English in Advance. We are not just about rules and lists. We are about giving you the tools and the confidence to actually use this language in your real life. I want you to leave this podcast today with one main idea. You are better than you think you are. Your English is good enough right now to have a conversation. The only thing stopping you is the editor in your head. So your challenge for this week is this. I want you to deliberately have a low-pressure English conversation with a colleague, with a friend, or even with yourself. And in that conversation, I want you to focus on just one of the strategies we discussed. Maybe you just focus on using fillers. Maybe you just focus on using simple sentences. Maybe you just try to use 3 chunks that you learned. Just pick one. And when you do it, I want you to notice how it feels. You might feel a little less stressed. The conversation might flow a little better, and that is a victory. That is progress. Thank you so much for joining me, Jessica, here on English in Advance. Learning to speak confidently is a journey, and I am so happy to be on it with you. If you found this episode helpful, please consider subscribing to our channel. We have so many more topics to explore, from natural vocabulary to advanced listening skills, all designed to help you stop just learning English and start using it. And I have a question for you. What do you overthink about the most in English? Is it grammar? Is it vocabulary? Is it pronunciation? Please leave a comment and let me know. I read them all, and it helps me create more podcasts that are perfect for you. Until next time, be kind to yourself and just keep communicating. Goodbye.